Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Sharanjit Singh, Marketing and Strategy Manager at Toromont Power Systems. Welcome to today's webinar regarding selection, configuration, and inventory management for retail generator sets. So prior to getting into the webinar itself, a couple of housekeeping items. Disclaimer, this presentation and the information contained herein are provided without a prejudice basis and does not constitute, nor does it can be construed to constitute legal advice or a guarantee of a representation or warranty on behalf of Toromont. The panel members will be offering suggestions to several possible customer scenarios. The answers given by the panel members should be used as a guide only. Please be aware this webinar is being recorded. If you do not wish to be recorded, you may leave the session at any time. Safety is paramount at Toromont, and cybersecurity is dear to our heart. So a couple of safety tips here on cybersecurity. Please make sure that your passwords cannot be guessed, and do not make it easy for hackers to gain access to your accounts. Use complex password with a mix of letters, numbers, and special characters, and consider using a password manager. Number two, please do not ignore software updates. Failure to update your software and systems can leave you vulnerable to attacks. Regularly update patch known vulnerabilities to ensure that operating systems, apps, and antivirus software are up to date. Number three, verify downloads. Download software or files from untrusted sources can introduce malware to your system. Always verify the source and use reputable websites. Lack of data web backups. Have a regular backup data so that important information cannot be lost through ransom attacks. Please do not neglect any safety securities. Leaving your network unsecured can allow unauthorized access. Use strong encryption to Wi-Fi, change default passwords on routers, and enable firewalls. You can type your questions directly under the chat after the presentation, or email them directly to me. My email address is ssingh@toromont.com. At the end of the presentation, I will make you aware that the chat lines are open. And now to the exciting part. We have a distinguished team of panelists here, very representative of the industry that we work in. And so I'd like to introduce Akhila Shankar. Akhila Shankar is a professional electrical engineer, and she works with electrical consultants in developing power systems. Akhila, would you like to say a few words to our participants today?
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to this session today.
Thank you very much, Akhila. Our next member of the panelist is Andrei Andreescu. Andrei is a professional engineer based in Quebec. And like Akhila, he also works together with consulting engineers in specifying generator set systems. Andrei, would like to say a few words to our guest today?
Yes, hello everybody. Thank you for taking the time to join our webinar. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Andrei. Last but not the least, we have Chad Hand. Chad Hand is Caterpillar's Territory Manager for Eastern Canada. Chad, your introduction,
hello, everyone.
Please.
Yeah, hello, everyone. Excited to be here. Also wanted to thank everyone for their attendance and participation today.
Thank you very much, Chad. So let's get into the discussions for today. I'm very excited to know actually a lot of these things. These are new things that are happening. So Chad, what is the CAT Power Hub and how it can be used?
Great questions, Sharanjit. Let's first start by taking a step back. At Caterpillar, we wanted to make sure that we got this right, the solution right. So we spent an extensive amount of time. We went out and did some global customer research to really understand what our customers want from an electric power digital experience. Here's what we found. Customers want to self-serve and to source information easily and quickly. They want to see availability of product online. They want simple and mobile-friendly resources, and they don't want to have to provide all personal details to access some basic set of information. So the CAT Power Hub was designed with consulting engineers, contractors, facility managers, and owners in mind. The site features stationary, mobile, new and used generators in a way that customers can quickly size, configure, and search for gas and or diesel generator sets, making it easy for customers to find what they want with just a few clicks. With Power Hub, customers can easily access the site on a desktop or a mobile device. They can conveniently search a wide range of products available in their local area. They can access technical information and specifications, store all their sizing, configuration, and project work in one place. And last but not least, utilizes convenient, time-saving, and powerful industry-leading experience for free. We want the power to be a one-stop shop that streamlines the experience of designing, monitoring, and maintaining gensets by providing the right information at the right time and tailored to the specific needs of each customer. Thanks, Sharanjit.
Thank you very much, Chad. So, Akhila, how can we use the CAT Power Hub to size a generator, and how can Toromont assist in this?
So Sharanjit, to answer your question, I think it's best to take our audience directly to the website. So when anybody logs into the power.cat.com, that is where you will find the Power Hub. To access the modules that are available within Power Hub, you can do it two ways. Either you can create your own account by clicking here, putting in all of your information and registering for an account. Without creating an account as well, you will still be able to access, I would say, over 90% of the features of Power Hub. You will not be able to save some of the information. I will show it to you as we move along. But other than that, most of the features are available and you can access without actually registering for using the Power Hub. So in order to size the generator, you click on this first module, sizing a generator. You can also configure. My colleague is going to be talking about it. Andrei will talk about it later. So we'll focus on sizing the generator first. You can access Power Hub from power.cat.com, and you can create an account by clicking on My Account, putting in your details, and registering for an account. If not, you can continue to use these modules even without a registration. And once you get onto Power Hub, the first thing that the program will ask you is for your address, your location. This is primarily to determine who is the nearest dealer that is close to your location. For everybody who's on this call, your dealer is Toromont. We are the dealers all the way from the Atlantic provinces, including and up to Manitoba as well. So you will see Toromont as the dealer for your area. Now, to answer Sharanjit's question about sizing of the generator set, we will be starting with this module that's on Power Hub to size and select a generator. On the left-hand side, you will see some of the parameters where you're defining the project parameters. If you actually sign up for and register, you will also be able to enter the name of the project, give it a name, and be allowed to save it within Power Hub as well. So we'll start by defining the power, the type of power you need, whether it's permanent or temporary. And when I say temporary power, we are talking about the mobile generator sets that we have in our product offering. So for this example, I'm going to assume that I want a permanent power. Next, we define the fuel type that we want. We can size a diesel or a natural gas generator set using this program. Again, at this point in time, we have data up to about 1250 kilowatts for diesel generators that's included within this program. And very shortly in the future, larger ratings up to 4 megawatts of diesel, and all of the natural gas generator ratings that Caterpillar offers will also be made available within this program. But at this point in time, it is limited to 1250 kilowatt of diesel. The next, you will enter the electrical parameters for the project. You can do that by clicking on the pen icon there. You can define the generator duty type. The options available to you are standby, prime, mission critical, continuous, and data center prime rating. If you need to know what exactly we mean by these definitions, to get a definition, you can click on this icon here, and you will be provided with a definition for the different generator ratings that are available. Next, you define whether it's a three-phase or a single-phase genset and the frequency. You also have the ability to choose the voltage for the generator set. We will leave it as 600 volts for this exercise. Click on Done. Then we now move on to defining the site conditions. Here you can choose the system of measurements, go from metric or imperial, change the ambient and altitude and humidity as required for your given site conditions. Once it's done, click on the Done button. Again, if you've already created an account, you will be this box gets activated, and you can save your project so far. If not, we continue with the addition of loads, and that we do by clicking on these buttons that are provided for the different loads. So for this example, I'm going to consider one three-phase motor as a load. We'll have some lighting loads as well, resistive load, and say a three-phase AC air conditioning load as well. So if you want more number of, say, lighting loads, you can click twice on this, or when we go on to the next page, I will show that you can change the quantity there as well. So at this point in time, click on Continue. It brings up this page where you can start entering the details for the loads that we have just selected. So for the three-phase motor, I'm considering a 25 horsepower motor. You do have the ability to change it from horsepower to kilowatt. You can determine the method of starting of the motor across the line, BFD, soft starter, or star delta. We will leave it as across the line for this sizing exercise. You also can define the frequency dip limit and the voltage dip limits that are acceptable. Ideally, and for the most optimum sizing of the generator set, we recommend that you leave it at the recommendation that is shown. These are the frequency and voltage dips that can be tolerated by that specific load. So I will leave it at 30% for this exercise. Here again, you can determine whether you want this load to come on in the first step, or assign it to any specific step that you may want. You can define the number of motors here, change the quantity. You can also copy this load and edit the rating to create another motor load within your sizing exercise. Next, for the lighting load, I'm going to add about 25 kilowatts of lighting load. You can define the type of load, the type of lighting load. Also change the frequency and voltage dip limits if required. Define which step you want the load to come on, and how many lighting loads are there can also be defined in this field here. Next would be the resistive load. Let's have about 20 kilowatts of resistive load. You can give a name for all of these, or all of your loads as well, by typing in the description box here. And last but not the least, I will have a 10-ton air conditioning load. You can change the unit of measurement to either tons or BTUs. We will leave the starting method as across the line. So for these loads, in case you've forgotten to add a load, you don't need to go back to the previous screen. You can just select, from this drop-down list, you can select a load. Say it's an electric heating that I've forgotten. I can click on that and bring that load onto the screen as well by clicking on add load. So at this point in time, I go up. Because I've not logged in, I cannot save this all the parameters that I've entered, but I can continue with the sizing by clicking on this button here. I have to give the program a few seconds to come up with the recommended generator set for the given set of loads. PowerHub recommends a 125 kilowatt diesel generator. The model is C7.1, also referred to as the D125GC. You have the option of adding additional 20% capacity to the loads that you've already entered for future expansion if required. You can also go back and edit these loads even at this stage. So going back and forth from adding loads to determining the size of the generator is still possible even at this point in time. So after this, in case you want the dealer to verify your sizing, you can click on this icon here and request for a validation of the sizing that you've done. You will have to enter your information, your name, last name, email address, contact phone number, and so on. You will come to this box wherein you can type in your message and ask for, if you have any specific question, put that in there and click on submit. Once you do this will automatically, because I've not completed the form, it's not letting me submit. When you click on submit, it will automatically send an email to the Toromont inside sales team, and one of us will review the sizing that has been shared with us and get back to you on the questions you may have. You can also download a report by clicking on this icon here. It will come up with a PDF report. It's a 2-page report. It gives you the information. What you're looking at is the report. It's very similar. If any of you have used the Caterpillar spec sizer, the report is similar to that, with a few exceptions, but you do have most of the essential information included in here. So we see that it's a 125 kilowatt. Because I have not created an account, I've not been able to enter a project name. That's why this is showing as not available. But the recommended generator is shown here. It's a 125 kilowatt. It's a D125GC. You can also see that about 61.3% of the capacity of 125 kilowatts is used by the loads that I put in. So you have about 40% of future expansion capacity still available to you in this recommended unit. On the second page, you will see the list of loads that has been entered, the permitted voltage and frequency dips, and what the actual voltage and frequency dip is. Since I put all of the loads in one step, that's what you're seeing, the total load for step 1. Here you will also see that the sum total of the running load is about 76 kilowatts, which is, as I mentioned, around 61% of the 125 kilowatt rate generator that was recommended.
So, Akhila, can you show us what the inventory levels are there for the units that you have selected?
Definitely, yes. So when we go down further, scroll down further on this page, you will see the recommended rating was the D125GC. So the program is now telling us that we now have 3 options to choose from. These 2 that are shown in green, these are the units that are available in the inventory. They could be available either at Toromont, or it could be part of the Caterpillar. We call it as the Z stock inventory. It could be from there. So these two units are available from inventory. And what is shown in blue is something that can be configured. It's yet to be built. So you do have the provision to make certain choices there and build a configuration of your choice. So I'll focus on the inventory units here. Because we now have two choices, we can also compare the two models. We can actually compare up to 3 generators. The program allows up to three models to be compared. Once we choose the two and click on compare, it'll come up with a list of parameters to compare. But right at the outset, from the very pictures, you can see that the first one is with an enclosure. The other one is an open unit, 125 kilowatt rating. So now if I click on compare, it's telling me that they're both EPA stationary certified. It's CSA certified, EPA stationary emergency certified. The first one, the one on the left, was with a white CAT standard enclosure. The other one is without an enclosure. This comes with a fuel tank. This is just a standard skid base on the open unit. It compares the alternator, the control panel that's on the unit, breaker. As you can see, they're pretty much identical other than the enclosure and the fuel tank. So you can do a comparison and decide on which one you want. Let's say we want an open unit. So at this point in time, if I click on view, you will be able to see the detailed bill of materials. You can also click on view documents to see what are the documents that can be downloaded for this particular unit. Let's click on view and take a look at the detailed bill of material, the specification. This is the screen you will see. So if I expand all, this is talking about the features of that generator. They're actually hyperlinks. You can click on them to see the definition of the rating and so on. Now, if I click on specifications and expand it, you will see the overall dimensions of the open generator set, the weight, the wet weight, and the dry weight of the generator set, and the specification for the engine and the alternator. There's also the fuel consumption at the bottom here. In terms of the documentation, we already saw this list there. It's very similar. You can download the data sheets and the spec sheets for the control panel, the battery charger, breaker, and so on. As you can see, what you cannot download here is the drawings, the standard drawings for this particular unit, but you can definitely contact us and I'll show you how to do that. When you go all the way down here, you can either request a quote or just express your interest and ask for the drawings if you want. So by clicking on this, again, it'll create this form where you can enter your information, and in the box here, ask for the drawings and click on submit, and you will receive the drawings from Toromont. Or you can request a quote. Again, this will generate an automatic email that will come to us. Here again, you will be expressing your interest and asking for a quote for this particular inventory unit. I think I have covered
everything. Thank you very much, Akhila. Thank you very much for sharing with us how to size a generator set using the tool that's available, checking the inventory, comparing different generator sets, and also being able to download documents that are available and how to contact the dealer for additional information. This is all great and exciting new stuff that's available online. And I think the next item now is, obviously you showed the other unit that can be configured to my specific request. So my specific application. So Andrei, how can we use the tool to size a generator set specific to our needs? Can you show us that, please?
Yes, give me a second, please. I will share my screen. So now I'm at the same page where Akhila was a few moments ago. You remember we had the 2 units available in inventory. Let's say that after checking the consist of these 2 units, any of them does not comply to our specific needs. Well, we have the option of configuring a new generator set to be ordered at the Caterpillar factory based on our needs. And we can start by configuring it, or we can start by having a brief view on the documents, some generic documents that are available for a unit like this, without going into too many details. We have here a Revit drawing that it is available, and we have data sheet for the generator set and for the remote monitoring system. We can download them all, or we can download them individually. If we want more specific information, and if we want to configure the generator according to our needs, well, we will click on the configure button, and now we get into a configuration tool that step by step guides us through the options that are available for a generator set. You see here at the upper part, there are the options, the tabs that are available. We will go through each of them. The generators are EPA certified. This is a requirement according to the Canadian emission regulations. We may select the UL 2200 generator set if the project were in the States, in the United States, that is more applicable for them. We may select the IBC certification for the generator set if, let's say, we plan to install it in a civil protection building where it is required. For the benefit of the exercise, let's suppose we need this IBC certification. We go to the next tab. We click on next. Here we have, we are under the electrical tab. So we have the choice for different type of alternators. We can either stay with the standard AREP excitation system, or we can select the optional permanent magnet excitation system that offers better transient capability. Of course, to get a few details on the capacity of each option, we can click on the I button and we get a brief description of what that option gives us. Let's select the permanent magnet. We go next. Here we have a few options related to input and output expansion modules. We have remote annunciators. Let's say we select a remote annunciator. We go next. We have the choice of several circuit breakers. This generator set can be equipped with 2 of them, and we have the choice of the capacity. For a 125 kilowatt generator set at 600 volt, well, the main circuit breaker should be 150 amps. And if we plan to do yearly testing according to CSA 282, it's probably wise to select a second circuit breaker where the load bank will be connected. So it will be a 150 amps as well. We click on next. The remote monitoring is offered by default by Caterpillar, so this is why it is selected by default. We go next. Do we need a jacket water heater? It is probably a wise idea in our Canadian winters. Next option. Do we want a battery charger? Again, it is something that we recommend to keep our batteries at full load. Next step. Here we have the choice to select an open generator without enclosure, or to select a sound attenuated enclosure. What type of enclosure? The information button gives us an idea. It will look like this. It's the standard Caterpillar enclosure, tight fit model. steel construction, we see that it is painted in the white. And if we decide to select it, we click here. And we go to the next option, which is, well, we can select lights inside the enclosure. We can select an emergency button on the outside of the enclosure. Supposing we select the lights. And the next option would be a fuel tank. We probably want a fuel tank, a sub-base fuel tank, which offers 24 hours of autonomy. We select this. And we click on next. So now we went through all the options that were available. We configured a unit. We see here a configuration summary. So we see whatever we selected. And then the tool shows us in what percentage the units in our inventory comply with the selection that we have done here. So you see that one of the units in the inventory, the enclosed one, it complies at 77% to whatever we selected here. We have a brief description of what is included with the inventory unit. If we want to get into more details, we can click on the view. But only from here, from the brief description on the main page, we can see that the unit in our inventory is equipped with one breaker only. We had selected 2 breakers here. So this is the main reason why the 77% is there. So why we have 23% differences between the inventory unit and the one we configured. Obviously, like Akhila showed before, after we have done the configuration, we can click on request a price. And the same thing, we will get a window where we enter our name, our company name, and we can ask for a price either for the unit here that we configured, or of course for the unit in our inventory. So in this way, once you configured, you tell us exactly what you need for your generator set, and our price obviously will be according to your specific configuration that you built. Once you have done the configuration, now you have access to more specific documentation related to the generator set that you just built. So you can click either on specifications here, and you have some dimensions, generator specification, the fuel consumptions. So this is basic information, or you can get some more detailed information here. Now you see, once we configured a unit with an enclosure and a fuel tank, we have a specific drawing available for the generator set with that fuel tank. We have the spec sheet of the generator, we have the spec sheet of the enclosure itself, and some other options that we had configured, the circuit breakers, the tank, etc. We can download them all, or we can go into each of them. I will do this. So once we download, we have access to the spec sheet. You see the same picture that we have seen once we were configuring the generator, and obviously the full detail of the enclosure. For the 125 kilowatt generator that we selected, the enclosure offers a noise level of, let's say, roughly 75 dBA at 7 meters, and there are specific dimensions, weights, etc. with the fuel tank. So you have full access to the documentation. There are also some interesting engineering tools that are available on the same page. At the bottom of the page, you see that 3 of them here. The first one, we can calculate the fuel need for our generator. So let's say we want to know how much fuel this generator will consume during 18 hours of running. Do we suppose it will run at 50%, 75%, 100%? Well, the tool can calculate the fuel consumed. So 18 hours at 75%, it will be 612 liters of fuel. There is another interesting tool that calculates the noise level. This is probably important when you want to decide where you install the generator. Do you have neighbors that could complain about the generator set noise? So the tool can be used in two ways. You can input the distance. We've seen that the enclosure offers a noise level of 75 dBA at 7 meters. We want to know what is the noise level, let's say, at 75 meters. So we hit calculate, and the tool tells us that at 75 meters, we will have a noise level of 54.6 dBA. Or we can use the tool in the other way around. We say, we know that we need a noise level of, let's say, 65 dBA to be met. At what distance the 65 dBA will be met? Well, the 65 dBA will be met at 22 meters. And there is a formula that shows us how this calculation was done. Obviously, it is done in free field with the generator running at full power. Last but not least, we have a third tool that can be used to calculate the dimensions of the concrete foundation. We start from the weight of the generator set with the enclosure. The tool tells us the weight of the generator set. There is provision for some additional weight, which may be, for instance, the weight of the fuel inside the tank. So we can calculate that weight and we can add it as a percentage. Let's say we add 30% for fuel or some other options that we may decide to install locally on the generator set. And based on the density of the concrete, the tool will calculate the depth of the foundation, the width, and the length. The dimensions here, length and width, are based on the weight and length of the generator set, and the depth it's based on a formula that is given here, everything coming from the Caterpillar application and installation guide. So I think this is what I wanted to show you today. Over to you, Sharanjit.
Thank you very much, Andrei, for sharing details on how to configure a unit, and also how to go get documentation for it, and also being able to contact the Toromont team, and furthermore the installation tools that are available. So this has been the formal part of our presentation. Now the chat lines are open. You can also put your questions in there, and also you can email the questions to me. My email address is shown on the screen, ssingh@toromont.com. So please forward your questions. I have one or two already that have come through. So Andrei, you mentioned that the drawings are available in PDF format. Generally, when engineers are designing up the projects, they need drawings in AutoCAD version. Will that be available?
Absolutely, yes. So through the tool, you can request the specific format that you want, and we have drawings available in PDF, in AutoCAD, 2D, 3D, Revit as well. So be specific to the format, and we can answer you quickly with the drawing specifically for the configuration that you built.
Thank you very much. Next question is for Akhila. Akhila, when you configured the generator set there with all the different loads, how is the intermittent load, the loads that start from time to time, how are they configured into the software?
The program has a provision. It identifies intermittent loads and makes allowance for the intermittent starting and stopping of those loads. So in that specific example that I demonstrated, we had the air conditioner, which has the which has the possibility of starting and stopping at different times when the other loads are already running on the genset. It could be a possibility you have the air conditioning coming on at that time. So to allow for that additional inrush that will be required over and above whatever the load the generator is already carrying, the program allows for what is called as an intermittent step. It takes a certain percentage of that load and carries it as an intermittent step within the calculations, and then determines or recommends the correct size, the optimum size of the generator set for the loads. So the program does take that into account while making the recommendation.
Thank you very much, Akhila, for that question. Next question is for Chad. Obviously, CAT has developed this software up to a level where sizing out retail generator sets, which is up to 1250 kilowatts. And Akhila mentioned that we'll be going then into the larger. What's the big picture here? Can you share that with us about the software going forward in future with the digitization and digital technology?
Yeah, just to elaborate. So we do have most of our product line available today in there, but there is some additional smaller gas nodes that are be added throughout the year, as well as the large electric gas models as well that are coming, as well as there's some rental size units and such. So we're going to continue to expand the product offering on what's available over the coming months. If we forward look into some additional feature sets that are coming, there's a lot that's in the works, but what I can share right now is there's additional calculators that are being developed. I believe there's upwards of 5 calculators that are already available today. There's a 6th one coming specific for flue size that would be able to, that you can calculate and it'll tell you or recommend a cat muffler option. There's also another feature coming that's really going to help guide the customer in their selling journey, assist them in learning more about Caterpillar Electric Power's diverse product offerings. Those are just a few things to note, Sharanjit. I know there's much more planned, but I'm excited about this solution and what it has to offer.
Thank you very much, Ed. Question from the chat. How can we import the project already completed in SpecSizer into the CAT Power Hub?
I'll take this one. You will not be able to import the sizing, the project itself into Power Hub. However, in fact, the SpecSizer has more functionality as compared to Power Hub. As we just mentioned, Power Hub, there are many more functionalities that are being added into Power Hub. But once you have the recommendation for the generator set on SpecSizer, you can use that model number and come and search for it in Power Hub to get the drawings or the documents, or to raise any question that you may have, to see if the inventory is available.
Thank you, Akhila. Is the CAT Power Hub available on the App Store? Or is it only on the website? Chad?
I believe as of now, it's not available on the app. It should be coming.
Thank you.
I believe that's on the roadmap for this year as well.
Yeah.
I believe it is mobile friendly in terms of the site on a phone, but there is an app coming in the future.
Yeah. Does Toromont and CAT have a generator sizing tools that take into account transformer inrush and currents?
I can take that one. So the transformer is modelized in the SpecSizer, which, as Akhila said, is a more developed tool than Power Hub. So in the SpecSizer, you can input the transformer as a load. And yes, it does consider the inrush, the momentary inrush that happens when you start that transformer, but not in Power Hub. Power Hub, it's for smaller project, as we said, up to 1250 kilowatts right now. So the option is not available in Power Hub.
Thank you very much, Andrei. The question here, one question is about can the Power Hub be downloaded, or is it only available online? And based on the discussion today, it is only available online at the moment. So that's that.
Yeah, apologies, Sharanjit, I misspoke. There is not an app in development. It's meant to be a web-based user experience.
Okay,
So
thank
that
you.
further supports your statement there.
Yeah. In the presentation, you covered rating. That was for for units that are mounted, whether for prime or whether for standby applications.
The specific sizing that I did, I chose a standby for as an example, but using Power Hub, you can size any of the ratings, standby, prime, data continuous, prime, continuous. All of these are available through Power Hub.
Thank you. There's a question about is the sizing tool different from what's available on www.cat.com and what is available on power.cat.com? I think there is reference to the spec sizer and the Power Hub tool.
Yes, I'm guessing that that's what the question is. They're trying to ask the difference between the two. As we mentioned, spec sizer is a more advanced tool. It already has within the database diesel and natural gas generator sets. At this point in time, Power Hub has been developed for the retail products going up to 1250 kilowatt. The advantage within Power Hub is you get to see the live inventory list and all of the information, drawings, the complete bill of material for the inventory product as well within Power Hub. That is the advantage that Power Hub offers over SpecSizer at this point in time. And in the long term, once all of the SpecSizer features get added on to Power Hub, maybe the SpecSizer may become redundant, but at this point in time, SpecSizer is the more powerful tool covering the entire product database.
Yeah, there's a question about JP8 and other fuels. That is this software available for that also?
Well, the software calculates the size of the generator, and obviously we can calculate the quantity of fuel consumed. The quantity is based on a standard diesel fuel number 2. If we plan to use a different fuel, then you have to contact us, and each engine has, let's say, a range of fuels that are available in certain percentages. We can blend, for instance, diesel with biodiesel. For some engines we can use kerosene, but it's specific to each engine, and that is a different discussion, a deeper discussion that has to be held with us, and it's not modelized in the Power Hub for now.
Thank you, Andrei.
If I may add, we have application installation guides that are available for from Caterpillar, which specifically for the diesel fuel type as well, and we can definitely share it with you if you send an email to the email address that was shown in the presentation.
Yeah, there's also a question about access to any options to receive suggestions on suitable layout for multiple generators for 2 megawatts and options considering light load and maximum load. Please contact me. You had my email address there, ssingh@toromont.com, and we can certainly help you with that discussion. Another question has come through, and this is more on the Canadian side of things. So somebody has asked, the question is two parts of the question. One, I need to have it meet the CSA 282 requirements, which is the local standard, and also the Ontario TSSA requirements. So Andrei, if I'm configuring a unit, how would I get that included in my quotation? And the second part is how long it's going to take to get a quotation from Toromont for a consist that I've developed.
Yeah, the CSA 282 modifications are specific to Canada. This is a Canadian regulation, and what this means basically is adding motorized louvers for the air inlet, air outlet of the enclosure, adding a heater to maintain the 10 degrees C according to the regulation. So all these options, they are not available from Caterpillar, which obviously builds the generator set for the entire world. If you need these options added, you have please to mention it into the request that you send it to us. So we know that your unit for the specific project is CSA 282 or TSSA compliant. When we return you the price for the generator set, we will include also the price for these modifications that will be done locally here in Canada. And the delay for responding is 2 to 3 business days.
Thank you very much for your questions. I hope you had a great time and listened to our experts and panelists out here. This is the first of our series of webinars this year. Our plan is to hold 8 webinars this year on different topics, industry topics, issues, concerns that the public has about this industry. The next one is in next month. We have other ones coming up in the remainder of the months, and some of interesting topics such as CSA 282, the peak power demand program in Quebec, emissions program on marine equipment, and so forth. So I look forward to that. Thank you very much, everyone, for your time and today. Look forward to you in the future webinars. Take care. Bye-bye.